So when we talk about personalized medicine today, terms like biomarkers and diagnostic, companion diagnostics come up, and many of the times they're used interchangeably, but there are a lot of different flavors, and I like to point out that they are actually not necessarily one and the same. So when we talk about biomarkers, let's talk about these first. They are used to dissect on a molecular level within a tumor indication. Let's take melanoma, for example. We have found that there is a subset that expresses a certain RAF oncogene, the V600 mutation. Another subset expresses the KIT. Another subset expresses the NRAS mutation. Now, this allows us to group subpopulations within the melanoma as a whole and ask the question now, which of these markers are actually potential targets? So the next step then we need to take is to develop drugs against these biomarkers and see whether they have a therapeutic effect initially in the laboratory, but eventually in form of clinical trials. Once we show that we can interfere with the activity of a biomarker that leads to a clinical benefit, overall survival or progression-free survival, then that biomarker becomes the basis of a personalized diagnostic, but only then. I have to point out at this here that the majority of biomarkers actually will never make it to become a personalized diagnostic or companion diagnostic, because many of them really turn out not to be viable targets. Then there's another component in the business in personalized medicine where we like to talk about biomarkers, yet where they have, again, a very different meaning. And these are biomarkers we use to help us develop the drugs, where we're looking at a surrogate response, where we get a quicker readout in our clinical trials to see whether a drug is affecting the pathway that we like to inhibit, which is something we can measure in 2 weeks, which is very different from a readout that would take 2, 3, 4 years, where we look at overall survival. But this is more of a technical nature, helping us to develop the drugs right into the clinic. You can see it's a very complicated story, and one always needs to be clear what type of a biomarker one is talking about with the same name.